It was a tradition in our family, one that we dreaded every year. Every Christmas Eve, my parents would insist on us taking a peculiar looking pill after dinner. They said it was a family ritual, something passed down from generations, a way to connect with our ancestors. The pills were small, white, and unmarked. I always found it odd that my parents were so insistent on this strange tradition, but being young, I never questioned it. As I grew older, curiosity got the better of me. One Christmas Eve, I decided I wouldn't take the pill. I pretended to swallow it, then discreetly spit it out when no one was looking. My parents seemed unusually tense that night, their eyes glinting with an eerie excitement. As the night wore on, I started feeling strange, my vision blurred, and the room seemed to twist and warp. I stumbled to my room, my head spinning, and collapsed on my bed. I woke up in a place that was simultaneously familiar and alien. It was our house, but everything was distorted, like a funhouse mirror version of reality. I could hear whispers, voices that seemed to come from the walls themselves. Shadows danced on the walls, taking on grotesque forms. And I tried to scream, but no sound came out. A sound came out. I was trapped in a nightmare of my own making. I stumbled through the house, trying to make sense of the madness. I found my parents in the living room, their bodies contorted in unnatural ways. Their eyes were pitch black, void of any humanity. They chanted in a language I couldn't understand, their voices echoing in my mind. Identification, I felt the presence watching me, a malevolent force that seemed to seep through the very walls of the house. I ran, or at least I tried to. My movements were sluggish, as if I was wading through thick mud. The house seemed to stretch on endlessly, its corridors twisting and turning in impossible ways. I was lost in a maze of madness, pursued by unseen helplessness to stumble through the house. I caught glimpses of other people, my neighbors, friends, even strangers, all trapped in this nightmare with me. Their faces were contorted in fear, their eyes wide with terror. I tried to speak to them, to comfort them, but my words were lost in the cacophony of whispers that filled the air. I don't know how long I wandered through that nightmarish version of our home. Time seemed to lose all meaning. Eventually, I found myself back in the living room, where my parents still chanted their incomprehensible incantations. The room's filled with a blinding light, and I felt myself being lifted off the ground. I woke up the next morning in my own bed, drenched in sweat. It took me a moment to realize that it was Christmas morning, that the nightmare was over. I guess I rushed downstairs, hoping to find some semblance of normalcy. But as I entered the living room, I saw something that made my blood run cold. On the coffee table, amidst the torn wrapping paper and discarded ribbons, was a small white pill. My parents smiled at me, their eyes glinting with that same eerie excitement. "Merry Christmas, dear," my mother said, her voice sending shivers down my spine. I never spoke of that night to anyone. I couldn't shake off the feeling that something had changed, that I had glimpsed a reality beyond our own. I became obsessed with uncovering the truth, researching ancient rituals and occult practices, and slowly I started to piece together the horrifying truth. That the pill was a gateway, a key to a dimension beyond our comprehension. Every year on Christmas Eve, our family was transported to this otherworldly realm, a place inhabited by malevolent entities and ancient eldritch horrors. My parents had willingly made a pact with these beings, offering their children as vessels in exchange for unimaginable power. As I was marked, tainted by that nightmarish experience, I could feel the presence of those entities lurking in the shadows, watching and waiting. I lived in constant fear, knowing that one day they would come for me to claim what was promised to them. And so every year on Christmas Eve, I take the pill, not out of I need to keep up appearances to pretend that I am still part of this family ritual, but deep down I know the truth. I am a prisoner in my own home, a puppet dancing to the tune of ancient cosmic forces. So if you ever come across a family that insists on a strange Christmas Eve tradition, think twice before questioning it. You never know what horrors might be lurking beneath the surface what dark secrets they might be hiding. And remember, some doors are best left unopened, some rituals best left unbroken. Because once you step into the unknown, there's no turning back.